Hello everyone, my name is Dhruv. I am an intern at Lexis and Company, and today in this video we are going to learn the rules for interpretation. Now interpretation is a basic key element for law or for any sort of ease to understand law. So this rule of interpretation itself has some rules, and we are going to discuss them one by one. So first we would be discussing the literary or the grammatical rule, as we are going to interpret. So this is the first rule for interpretation, and according to this rule, the words used in this text are given or interpreted in their natural or ordinary meaning. Now, after the interpretation, if the meaning is completely clear and unambiguous, then the effect of shall be given to a provision of a statute, regardless of what may be the consequences. Now, this is the basic rule that whatever the intention legislature had while making any provision, it has been expressed through words and thus are to be interpreted according to the rules of grammar. Now it is the safest rule of interpretation of statutes because the intention of legislature is deduced from the words and the language used. So according to this rule, the only duty of court is to give effect if the language or the statute is plain and has no business to look into the consequences which might arise in future. Now the only obligation of the court is to expound the law as it is, and if any harsh consequences arise, then the remedy for it shall be sought and looked out by the legislature. So to understand this rule better, we would be discussing some of the case laws which I'd be stating that the state of Kerala versus Mathai, Varghese and others. This is a case of 1987, and in this case a person was caught along with the counterfeit currency, which is dollars at that time, and he was charged under section 120B, 498A, 498C and 420, which was read with section 511 and section 34 of the Indian Penal Code for possessing counterfeit currency. Now the accused contended before the court that a charge under section 498A and 498B of the Indian Penal Code can only be levied in the case of counterfeiting of Indian currency notes and not in the case of counterfeiting foreign currency notes. Now the court in this case held that the world currency notes or bank note cannot be prefixed. The person held liable to be charged sheeted. So this was a case in which we applied the grammatical rule or the literal or the grammatical rule of interpretation in this case. Now talking about the second rule, which is the mischief rule. Now in this case, mischief rule was originated in the Hayden's case 1584, and this Hayden's case became a landmark case, and it is the rule of purposive construction because the purpose of this statute is important while applying this rule. It is known as Hayden's rule because it was given by Lord Polk in Hayden's case. It is called as mischief rule because the focus is on curing the mischief. In the Hayden's case, it was held that there are four things which have to be followed for true and sure interpretation of all the statutes in general, which were as follows. I have listed all of them. So it said that what was the common law before making of an act. Second would be that what was the mischief for the present statute that was enacted, and what remedy did the parliament sought or had resolved and appointed to cure the disease of the commonwealth, and the fourth would be that what was the true reason for the remedy. Now the purpose of this rule is to suppress the mischief and advance the remedy. So we would be discussing some of the case laws here, which says a case law is Smith versus Hughes. It is a case of 1960s, and in this case around the 60s, the prostitutes were soliciting in the streets of London, and it was creating a huge problem in London. So this was causing a great problem in maintaining the law and order. Now to prevent this, the Street Offences Act 1959 was enacted. So it actually the enactment of this Street Offences Act defines all the statutes in general which were necessary, as I just stated above. So we have the reason for the true reason for the remedy. We have a law before making that act, and we are very sure and true that what was the mischief of the which the present statute is enacted. So after, as this Street Offences Act 1959 was enacted, after the enactment of this act, the prostitutes started soliciting from the windows and balconies, as they were not allowed to be on the streets. And further, the prostitutes who were carrying on to solicit on the streets and balconies were charged under section 1 subclause 1 of the said act. But the prostitutes pleaded that they were not solicited from the streets. So in this case, the court held that although they were not soliciting from the streets, yet the mischief rule must be applied to prevent the soliciting by prostitutes, and shall look into this issue. Thus, by applying this rule, the court held that the windows and the balconies were taken to be an extension of the word street, as the charge sheet was held to be correct. So mischief rule was applied here in this case. Now the third, we have the golden rule. So golden rule says that because it solves all the problems of interpretation, that's why it is named as golden rule. Now the golden rule says that to start with, we shall go by the literal rule. However, if interpretation given through the literal rule leads to any or some kind of injustice, ambiguity, or hardship in solving the problem, then in all such event the literal meaning shall be discarded and interpretation shall be done in such a manner that the purpose of the legislation is fulfilled. Now the literal rule follows the concept of interpreting the natural meaning of the word used in the statute. But if interpreting natural meaning leads to any sort of repugnance or hardship, then the court must modify the meaning into the to the extent of injustice caused and no further to prevent the consequence. So this rule suggests that the consequence and effects of the interpretation deserves a lot more importance, because they are the clues and the true meaning of the words used by the legislature and its intention, that what legislature is trying to say. At times, while applying this rule, the interpretation done may be entirely be opposite of the literal rule, but it shall be justified because of the golden rule. Now the presumption here is that legislature does not intend certain objects, thus any such interpretation which leads to unintended objects shall be rejected all away. So this was all about the rules for the interpretation, and in the further video we will be discussing the next